The Play's the Thing, with your host, Judy Sleed. Special guest, Geir Magnusson, famed photographer. And now here's Judy.
Hello, everybody. This is my show called The Play is the Thing. And I'm happy to have Geir with us today.
Thank you.
And I haven't had anybody from Iceland before. Does that mean it's cold? Are you cold all the time?
No, Iceland is actually quite nice weather over there. It actually gets colder here in Long Island, I feel like, than it does in Iceland. And
so why is it called Iceland?
See, now there are many different stories about it, but one of the stories is that they say that the Vikings, they loved it so much that they wanted people to go to Greenland, and therefore called it Greenland, and then keep their paradise for themselves and calling it Iceland.
Oh, my goodness.
But then there are other stories.
You know, that's a good story. We could write a book on that. How about that?
Exactly.
Well, you have many talents. First time when I met you, you did a story on one of the plays, A Naked Stage, which I was the host of.
Right.
And you not only took pictures, but you wrote the story. And then I see you take pictures all over the place. And then I had seen you as an actor.
Right.
At Guildhall.
Yeah.
Hamlet, was it?
Hamlet, yeah.
And what was your part?
I played a few ensemble roles. I played Lucianus, who was the murderer within the play, and Francisco, who was the honor guard and opens the play, sailor, and again another guard. And so it was Joss Gladstone. He casted me for these ensemble roles because I've never been on stage before. And
isn't that something? And
yeah.
Is he going to hire you again?
Yeah, he's said so many times in front of the public, so I'll have witnesses.
So he probably likes the way you act.
He said that I had good feel for the stage, and that I just had to get a grip on the language, and then I could go back on stage, do it more properly.
Of the language, you mean the English language?
I barely speak English, so and then going to Shakespearean was a completely different story.
What language do they speak in Iceland?
Icelandic.
You're kidding me.
No, they have their own language. We have our
You
own.
have, okay, how do you say hello in Iceland?
Góðan daginn.
Such a long word. Góðan daginn.
Góðan daginn.
Góðan daginn.
Yeah.
I thought Hungarian was very difficult. I think Icelandic is even more difficult.
It's considered to be the fourth most difficult language in the world to learn how to speak.
And which is the first one?
I believe it's Russian, and then Japanese, and I forget the third one, but it's one of those.
Hungarian.
Probably Hungarian.
So we were talking about Josh Gladstone. He
Yes.
was a guest of mine, but in case people who are watching, he's the artistic director of the John Drew Theater, which is in Guildhall.
It was he's doing a wonderful job, and now he's doing a production of Moby Dick with Tony Walton. It's going to be a fantastic show, and I think I've been here coming on and off for 5 years. Josh has been in Guildhall for a couple of years, and I think he's doing a fabulous job. Well, of course, because he hired me as an actor, but it's going to be good.
Now, how did you get into photography?
Photography, I was shooting at actually at the studio next door. A gentleman named James Blue Eyes produced a comedy show here last year, and I had just gotten myself a new digital camera, which was good enough. It could handle the light without flash, and they had announced no flash photography, and there was a writer from Dance Papers that saw that I was taking pictures, asked me to give them the pictures. They got published, and they got published in other newspapers, and to see your name, with the pictures published, it was like a thrill. It was fun. So they kept giving me new assignments, and since then, it's August last year. I've been
well, you are one of those people who just falls into things.
Right.
Without really trying. Very few of us are like that, because everybody's trying, and then they give up. You're just falling to people just clamor after you to do work.
No, no, no. Well,
No?
one day maybe, but I mean, I'm quite busy with my photography, which is great, and I wish
When
I
you
could
said
do
next door to LTV or
yes,
Guildhall?
Plum TV. So yes.
Oh.
So at Plum TV, well, East Hampton Studios, let's call it that, because
Uh-huh.
it's owned by Fraser, and he is the one that we rented the studios from. And
So when you moved to Iceland, did you come to the Hamptons directly?
when I moved to the United States from Iceland, no, I modeled for 8 years. I did Paris, Milan, New York, and did that whole kind of circle, which entails when you do modeling. You have to follow the certain routines, and I met a few people in New York City that brought me out eventually to the Hamptons, and I just loved the feel of the Hamptons. It's so much nicer than the big city feel that I have in New York City. I don't enjoy New York City at all.
Well, I have to say the same thing. I don't either, and I'm also coming from many, many different places, and I'm very happy to be here in the Hamptons.
So am I.
So we
am I.
have that little thing in common.
Yeah, and it's that little town feel that I like. You know, you can I go to the pizzeria, which is not far from here, and they know me by name, and
Yes, that's nice.
And,
people say hello to you, they know you.
yeah. So that's same thing that was in my hometown. I was kind of the go-getter in my hometown, and was the social butterfly, and people knew me there. So this is the same kind of feeling. So I guess I feel more like home here than I do somewhere else.
And when did you, you gave up modeling eventually?
After 8 years of modeling, yes, then it was just like, you had enough at one point. It's fabulous.
Can I ask what you modeled? Were you ever in a centerfold?
In a centerfold? No, not that kind of centerfold, no. But I did do quite a few, but pretty much any major stylist out there, I worked with, a lot of them.
But this was in Europe, it was not here in the United States?
In the United States as well, yes.
You did?
Yep.
And they're
Every
not calling
show
you
season
back?
I was here.
Excuse me?
Every show season I was here.
Oh.
And I still do modeling on occasion when I get the calls for it.
It's supposed to be very lucrative.
Well, for women it is. It's
For women, you
yeah,
said?
more so than men. But it's an interesting business. Let's put it that way. It's not for everybody to do it.
Yes, yes.
And,
So you like acting and taking, which one you like better, acting or taking photographs?
That's a hard question. I think I enjoy both. I enjoy. I decided to follow my longings, in the sense what makes Geir happy, and I'm flying airplanes and I take photography and I'm trying to do some acting, and I guess.
Who was that? Candice Bergen was a photographer first, and then she became an actress.
Oh really? Yeah,
Yes.
I had no idea. The acting is a new thing. It's something I've always had interest in doing. Decided when I saw Hamlet Shakespeare was going to be put on in Guildhall, I decided I've done some readings with Mr. Gladstone at Guildhall, and I decided to audition, and he said that I'll have a part in the play. He wasn't sure where to place me yet, but he promised
liked
me
you.
a part.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
And do you know anything about what's like about the Guildhall, what they're doing, like the naked stage? I always bring that up because I like that.
No, I think it's a fantastic thing. Yeah, it gives writers opportunity to see what a possible image of their production would be like. Or not so much to see that. It's just a different thing to read it yourself and as you're writing it, and see a whole bunch of actors reading the different roles and kind of breathe a little life to them. Even though it's a little raw, because none of the actors have seen the scripts before.
Did you ever think of writing something?
I will write something. I do have the need to be a storyteller, and I have a crazy idea about producing a movie at one point, and I'll be more than happy to come again to your show and tell you more about that on a later day. But,
That's very exciting. I always like new things, and I like it when people are taking time to bring it about, the ideas, because a lot of people have ideas and it just sits there.
Right.
We never know about it.
Right. Well, I'm working on a few things, and one of the things that I want to try to do is raise awareness for teenagers in the United States for the effect of the rainforest for example, or environmental issues, anything that is
To save the earth.
well, I don't want to put it that way, but in that spirit, to let people realize that yes, we do live in a place and that we should be grateful that we have, and that we need to leave something behind for our grandchildren.
And how do you feel like acting with people you don't know?
With acting, it's when I'm on stage, I'm acting by myself. You know, I'm just reacting to other people. And,
Oh, well, that's good.
And so yeah, it's me, myself, and I in my little world.
Did you need a lot of rehearsing?
I needed some tutoring with some words and pronunciation, but other than that, the actual acting part usually kind of came to me rather quickly. But then again, I also was doing it with a great director, and Josh Gladstone has his, I think, very good way to reach to all the actors there, and it was just...
I think he's really multi-talented. He could do anything.
Right.
Because I saw him do different parts, acting,
Right.
and he's a natural. And he's so full of enthusiasm. It's just, you know, I love to watch him.
We did about 18 performances of Hamlet, and Josh played one small role in Hamlet. Well, small role. There's no such thing as small roles, but
Yeah. At the end.
But he actually played a great role, and that was the role of the gravedigger. And
Yes.
Every show, I would sneak up front so I could see the stage. and watch his performance, and I would always laugh as much every performance. Yeah, no, he absolutely is one of the more energetic and playful
Yes, he is.
actors I've seen in a long time.
So you are going to bring us some photographs, and you didn't because
I'm
you were in a hurry.
Well, one of the things I'm in a hurry, no, but I wanted to bring some photographs that are of a greater quality, and I decided in everything I do, I'd rather not show it if I can't show you the perfection.
Oh, well, that's a good thing.
It's
Yes,
I'd rather show you two great images.
You have to put your best foot forward because so many people are watching this show.
Well, I'll be more than glad to come again, and then I'll bring my work. I'm actually working on a book, and I'll tell you more about that again later.
Do you photograph portraits, people?
Portraits, yes.
Any famous people?
A few famous people. I have a couple of famous, famous. I have a couple of celebrity clients.
Celebrity
Right.
clients.
Yes.
Which means every time they need something, they call you?
They call me, yes, for their private events,
Okay.
family gatherings, and those kind of things.
Any interesting stories?
Oh, a lot of stories, but
Like people falling in the pool?
no, we haven't seen that yet. I saw somebody get pushed in the pool, but that was
Yeah.
unrelated.
Or somebody tripping over the hors d'oeuvres?
No, nothing so fancy, not yet. I wish.
No?
No.
Well, next time you do a shoot like that, you could stage it. You know, nobody will know.
Right. Yeah, I've thought about that actually, and I thought about getting a couple of little hands to come with me and help me out.
Yes.
And get that
Well, call
right
on
photo.
me. I'll do it for you.
Great.
And do you also photograph objects?
What I enjoy most to photograph are children and then landscape. It's a very simple reason, and both are very beautiful all the time, always. The children up to a certain age aren't self-conscious or aren't conscious about what is happening, so they won't try to alter their appearance in any way, shape, or form. So it's just so easy to get that shot, and you don't have to be a very good photographer for people to say, "Wow, what a beautiful photograph," because the subject you're taking is excellent.
But you still have to center it.
Right.
Because when I take pictures, my hand moves when I click down the shutter, and then there goes the head.
Right.
So
Right.
I somehow remember you showing that to me. I went to your studio once, and you did show me photographs of children.
Yeah.
Yes. What do you think if you would take a picture of this arrangement here?
I would be, yeah. I
Would
could,
you
I'm
win
sure I
a
would.
prize? Is there a certain way of doing it?
No, I don't think I would win a prize for this arrangement, but maybe an honorary mention. But yeah,
Well, no,
again,
the point I'm making is that you say anyone could take a picture, but if you wanted to make it real good,
yeah.
if you would take a picture of this, I think it would look 100 times better than if I did.
Well, it's also just repetition. It's, you know, a lot of it is, you know, we can all do it. It's just, you have to have confidence in yourself.
But isn't it something you have to position it in a certain way so the shadow goes here
Lighting.
or there, and
But once
the
you know about
background
that, yeah.
and all that. So you have to think of all the, most people don't think of all those things. They just go click, click,
Right.
click.
And that's probably what makes, you know, the difference between a professional and an amateur photographer is the professional photographer is aware of those things. And
So I'm just, again, making a point because you said anyone could do it.
I know that's exactly it. And anyone can do it, but they just have to be aware of these things. And I'll be more than happy to show you how to do it.
Well, that's very, very sweet of you. I had somebody else here on the show who used to just always minimize everything he did. Anyway, oh, it's not great, I'm just doing. But I'm just trying to build people up. I want you to be aware of your talents.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you.
You don't have to be cavalier about it. Oh, that's a word I just learned from my son. He kept saying, I don't want to be cavalier. I don't know where he learned it. Very interesting.
Right.
So is there any advice you would give to anybody who want to be a photographer or an actor or a model?
Or a model.
Yes.
Well, in the modeling sense, I wouldn't advise anybody to do it, but you know, either you do it or you don't. I promised myself I wouldn't get anybody into it.
You had a bad experience.
I didn't. I saw people get really come badly out of it. It's either you're going to handle it fine and you'll ignore all the way you're being treated as a model, or you have a way about you that you won't get treated that way, or you don't handle it fine and you'll just. I mean, modeling
I just gave you an idea of how to do to write a how-to book about modeling.
Right.
The world is full of ideas.
It certainly is. It certainly is. The other for photography. If you're interested in photography, my mother was always interested in photography. So was my father, and that's where I probably get it from, because I was always surrounded by cameras, and well, in that sense, they were always taking photographs of us, and it wasn't posed. It was just, you know, they would capture the moment, and that's what good photography is about. I think it's about capturing the moment as opposed to trying to pose, because when you pose, you're creating something artificial, and again, which brings me to the point of why it's so easy to take children photography and
Candid camera.
Candid, yeah. That's another. That is one thing that I do like about going into New York City. It is very lively, and you see so many different types of people and persons there that it's a great canvas to go out and take candid shots.
It is. As I was looking at you, you're talking about photography. When I was about 6 or 8 years old, I remember going to the banks of the Danube with my family and just looking at that. And I had a camera and I wanted to take a picture, and I said, no, not yet, not yet, not yet. And they were busy, and when they were not looking, I took a picture of a boat passing by.
Right.
And then when we developed a picture, they couldn't believe that I took that picture without them telling me, okay, now.
Right.
Something stands out in people's mind. I mean, that's so that I did that myself without people telling me what to do and how to do it.
But that's the thing about photography. It's about what you see, not what other people see. That's what makes the photographer. You're lending your moment to the rest of the world for a split of a second.
And I don't think I asked you where you live right now.
I live in East Hampton. I live here full time, and I used to go back and forth between New York City and the Hamptons, and again, because of reasons I mentioned earlier, this felt more like a home to me than being in the city, and So I decided to just be here full time. I love it here in the winter times. It's so beautiful. Absolutely.
But you said you're moving.
Oh, I'm moving houses, yes. I'm staying in the Hamptons, absolutely.
You still going to stay in East Hampton?
East Hampton probably more than Bridgehampton or Sag Harbor, even though Sag Harbor probably is one of my favorite places in the Hamptons.
But you said you're moving. You know where you're going to move to, or you just...
No, I'm looking for... No, I'm
Oh,
currently
you're
looking.
looking.
Yes.
I thought you were already in the process of moving.
Well, sort of ish. Yeah, I packed my bags and getting ready to getting ready to go into a new apartment. But it doesn't really matter. I mean, any place in the Hamptons, I think is really, really nice. As long as I don't want to go too far from the center of the Hamptons. But yeah.
And as far as the arts and everything, what would you like to see to happen here in the Hamptons?
Well, I had an idea last year and I made it happen. And I'm following up again this year, and that's the Festival of Lights. And that's something that I came up with that I bring from my hometown, and that's we celebrate the Christmas decoration. And it doesn't matter, you know, what religion you are, you can still appreciate the beauty of it. So that's why I wanted to call it Festival of Lights.
Now that's what they call, in the Jewish religion, Hanukkah is the Festival of Lights.
Of lights, right, yeah.
So what, you do this every
Well, my
every
first year was last year, where I went around the Hamptons and I got tips and did this with 92.9 EHM, the radio station, local radio station out here, and also along with Dance Papers.
Well, what do you do? What you said you're making it happen. What happens?
Well, I asked people to give us tips regarding about who is decorating really nicely this year, and we got in quite a number of tips from people, which was very helpful. And I went out, inspected it, and took photographs of the property, and then we picked winners.
And did you publish the photography?
Yes, in Dance Papers.
Oh, and then they picked a winner.
We
What
picked
does the winner
winners, yeah.
get?
The last year they got quite a few things. They got a case of wine. Excuse me, a case of wine from Wolfer Estate. They got a 3-night stay at the Enclave Inn, and they also got a couple other gift certificate that I had got up from some people, local people that I've gotten to know.
So
Pizza, so the pizza place that I told you about earlier.
Oh yes, the bagel place would give you bagels.
Yeah, so this year I'm doing it earlier, and we're gonna put a bigger point out of it, and make it into, you know, lighting the Christmas tree and getting Santa Claus into town and making it a family event. So, you know, this is going to be the
really
second year. So a couple of years down the road, people won't remember how it started, but I'm sure they'll all enjoy it.
I'm sure they will remember it. You started it.
Wow, there will always be different stories.
Well, you seem to do a lot of things, and when you say you're busy, you really are busy.
Right.
That's one thing here during the summer. I know I'm always late going to places because I forget it's a summer and there's a lot of traffic.
Very, yeah.
And I keep telling myself, Judy, start earlier. But I don't listen. I just...
There always seems to be something that comes up, doesn't it?
Yeah, there's always a last-minute thing you want to do. Oh, it'll take just a second before I know it. What happened to the time?
Right, exactly. I know that feeling very much. And I do try to be on time always, because I don't like being late. That's one of the things that I don't.
Yeah, especially it's important here.
Yeah.
So do you know that what we're taping now we'll go to up the island, as we say, up the island. I take the tape, and then also I'm working on getting this tape into Manhattan Cable.
Very nice.
And also Woodstock and a couple of other places.
Oh.
So you never know who's going to see this.
Well, we hope as many as we possibly can.
And before I forget, I want to mention that I'm looking for people to underwrite the show. And I never mentioned it before, but there's a nice place here in Wainscott, the fish store, the seafood shop.
Right.
And they have a wonderful, wonderful place. They even cook the fish for you if you want it, so you don't have to do it. And the man's name is Colin, the owner, and he was nice enough to underwrite this show. So because I told him I have a very handsome guy coming. And he says, sure.
Wow, it was a pleasure to come here. Thank you for asking me to come.
It was, we could talk about a few more things. I always want to ask people, if you would become like really famous, how would you handle it? Could you handle all the fame and the money?
The fame and the money?
Yes.
I wouldn't want to be famous.
No?
If I don't get a choice. But if I don't get a choice, how would I handle it? I like to have good effect on people, so I try to do that. Maybe I'll be successful at it, maybe I wouldn't. It's hard to tell.
So as long as you enjoy what you're doing, that's what counts, right?
I think as long as you're enjoying what you're doing, you'll be good at it.
Yes.
So I think that's what's good.
Yeah, because I always wonder what would happen if somebody would just recognize me on the street. Hi. It happened a couple of times. They said I saw you on TV, but it's, I can handle it. It's okay.
Hi.
So we're going to sign off, and I always say goodbye. You want to wave to the people? Goodbye, goodbye. No? I thought you said to this and this way, this way. I get all these hand signals about, you know, when to when to finish a show.
Right.
Well, it was really lovely, lovely, and we have to come back and we have to talk about your book. You said you're writing a book.
Publishing a photography book.
A photography book. Well, there's always room for anything good that happens.
Good. Glad to hear it.
Yes.
Love will
So,